Hello, everyone. Today we are here with a very special guest, Mr. Uncommon NASA here on the sticks. Super great to have you here today, man. This is definitely a different thing for us, something new. Super excited to have you, though, on the show.
Word up. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. You want a question? The circumstances are over the internet right now. Like, this is going to be a super relaxed interview. But
yeah,
you want to start with a question?
Sure. Ian, it sounds like you're coming from Mars, but that's okay.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. Maybe put a little more space between your words so we can make it out. My first question was probably one that you've gotten before, but collaboration is a big thing right now, and it's always been, but right now it's a big thing because a lot of artists coming up find their way piggybacking on others that they've been grown up listening to. And I was wondering if there's anyone that you have listened to for extensively over the past that you're dying to collaborate with, or if there was one person that like really stands out, like that's the one that you would pick to work on a project with.
I think look, when I used to get asked that question, I used to always say Mike Ladd, and I got to work with Mike Ladd on Written at Night. For those who don't know, like when I was engineering in the late 90s and the early 2000s, I worked on a couple of Mike Ladd records. I worked slightly on Welcome to the After Future, and I worked fully on Infesticons. And they were really impressionable sessions for me. And I was really pumped that he was down to get on Written at Night. So after that, I don't know, you always have like some ideas, and like, a lot of my work through Man Bites Dog, is collaborative based, and so some of those collaborations are my ideas, and some of those ideas are brought to me, and then I'm like, oh shit, that sounds like a great idea, It's never a bad thing to have somebody suggest a dope cameo to you that can make it happen. So shout out to Man Bites Dog on that. And, but I think, shoot, I'd love to work with Delta Funky Homo Sapien. Who wouldn't?
That would be sick.
Yeah. It was, working with Pep Love was a thrill,
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a huge Hyro fan. So any of those guys really.
Yeah, that's awesome that you've already had those. Ian?
Yeah, if I can expound upon that a little bit. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, you're better.
Okay. Collaboration seems to be just a huge part of who you are as an artist. Looking back through your back catalog and what you said about your work in the 90s and 2000s, collaboration seems to a big, like, your own creative process, having collaborated with people like some of the biggest names that pop out to me were Open Mike Eagle and Billy Woods, two of the biggest underground rappers right now. I was just wondering, has collaboration really, would you say, formed you as an artist and sort of given you a new perspective on what the creative process is for you?
No, I wouldn't say that. In particular, like, those guys are guys that I've known. You know what I mean? Like, I knew Woods since Chows came out. So you're talking about,
Right.
Probably known Billy Woods for, what year is it? It's 2020. So that was probably, I've known him for about 15 years. And I've known Mike, or knew Mike, for quite some time too. So, I think collaboration is dope when you're trying to sort of bring like-minded people together. Like Ornate doesn't really have any cameos on it. And my next project, which is going to be called Only Child, doesn't have any cameos on it either. It's kind of balanced, like when you do some stuff that's collaborative, you kind of want to balance it with stuff that's not. So that way your voice isn't getting lost. I think if anything, collaborative work, the main thing that you want to get out of it is making sure that you're presenting the person you're working with a clear direction and concept and theme so that they can bring their best to what you're doing, but it not just be like a random, collaboration with random verses. I think that's, something I've strived for, and why maybe some of the collaborative stuff stands out is like, as a producer, whether I made the beat or not, like I try to bring that to the collaboration. And, I do that because that's what I want when somebody comes to me for me to be on their project. The worst thing is when somebody will hit me up and whether it's somebody I know or not, they want you to do something or get on something, but they don't have any idea what they want you to do. And that's just not going to lead to good work. So.
Right. Have you ever had any conflicting interest on a project ever? Has anybody really given you like a stick up or something?
Given me a what?
Or have you been lucky enough to avoid that? Giving you or have you been able to mostly avoid that?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you very well because you're breaking up, but you can just say that question again, I guess.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot of editing for you later.
Yeah, my bad. My internet's never been good. Kind of going off what you said about like-minded voices together. Have you ever had any conflicting interests for a project or a particular track?
You mean like working with somebody who you just can't get, like I haven't really worked.
Yeah, something along
I haven't really worked with anyone that I've had to pull aside and say, hey, this isn't what the song's about. I usually try to avoid situations like that. I really, up until the last couple records, everyone that I've worked with in the past, up until a couple of the cameos that are on Written Night and a couple of the cameos that are on City of School, all those people I knew, and some of those people, maybe their stature grew, over time or whatever, but like we all came up together, you know what I mean? So,
right.
There was never like sort of like I think the people that I worked with for the most part, like we talk enough and know each other well enough to know, what we're doing musically. And I'm sure there's people that I've known that I haven't ever collaborated with because it's not like a conscious thing, but in the back of your mind, like, oh, this wouldn't work or, under the circumstance. So I haven't really, I feel like I've kept myself out of those situations is how I would say it.
Gotcha. Collaboration that I've ever seen, you always see like the bright side of it, the good side.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone puts you in on. So I was curious. That kind of thing has to happen sometimes. You get two guys in the studio and you just start butting heads because nobody can agree on anything.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been in that situation myself, but I've been in the studio for situations like that, I'm sure, between all the work that I've done over the years. I think I'm pretty easy to get along with. I hope so. I think, like I said, at the outset of it. Yeah, I mean, I think at the outset, like what I was saying is like, giving people information is the key to it. If you put two people in the room and neither one of them really knows what the other one wants, you're going to have a lot of that butting head. That's when you're going to have those issues, is when people don't have a direction or a goal or information from each other or haven't spoken. If you just toss two people in a room and say, make something dope, there's a lot of pressure that comes from that, because nobody wants to fail.
Right.
But I've tried my very best to never put anyone in that situation, like where, if I ask somebody to do something or contact or whatever, it's a situation where I'm presenting the beat. 9 times out of 10, I'm presenting my verse on the beat and talking about what this is about, whether it's in the studio or just over email or whatever. I think where you get the most frustration, like I said, is just when people are tossed into a situation and just they're expected to chef up some shit as if it's easy. And it's not easy. And when people treat it like it is, that's where you could have creative conflict.
Gotcha.
Gotcha. I have a question for you. So a lot of artists have different ways to put their creativity into forms. And Ian and I did a segment on Tom York from Radiohead, and he had a project that came out last year called Anima, in which there was a short film Netflix special that he recorded. And it was really cool to see how his music and everything tied into the movie. And the one thing that I thought was super interesting was when I saw your collection of short stories and poems called Withering. And I was, I just never saw that coming. And I was wondering, is that another creative outlet for you that we will see more of coming forward? Or is that just something you had to get off your chest that was a brief moment and is now gone?
No, it's certainly something that I want to pursue more and that you'll see more of. Ron Press is the publisher that put that out. And him as a publisher, what he's doing is he's trying to get rappers to release their lyrics in written form, in chapbook form, so that it reads like poetry. So the angle that he put on it, like he did one with Sack as well, from the West Coast, and like on his, like he's also a visual artist, so he's got some drawings and some of the lyrics. Mine, you've got some lyrics, you've got some poetry that's not released, you've got 2 short stories, and so like the visual art is replaced with me, by the short storytelling. And I really enjoy writing fiction. It is a good different outlet for me. I've been busy with music probably since about November or December. I've started to heat up again in terms of like being proactive and being a little more prolific. So I've got like, now I'm sort of in a stage where I've got about 5 or 6 stories that are sort of 50 to 75% done that need to go back and get re-edited and rewritten. So those will eventually grow out from underneath the surface, and hopefully within a year or so, and I'll have like some more stories to present. In what form, I'm not sure. I'm always down to talk to more people if people want to publish more of that kind of work. I'm absolutely interested, and or if not, then I'll find some other way to kind of include it with something. But I like that because it works a different part of my creativity. When I was really young, I grew up, that was my first sort of artistic experience, was doing, writing and doing that sort of creative writing thing. And as I got older and, teenager, young 20s, I got deeply into music. But I've sort of come full circle now all these years later. And I really do enjoy writing because it's a very different experience. I mean, my writing style with lyrics is a bit, erratic or storytelling kind of style to begin with. I really try really hard to have all of my songs have a specific theme or a specific purpose, which is the way that you would write a story. So it does go back and forth and flow naturally to me, but obviously I've had, X amount of years working on music, and I haven't, sharpened the writing tool as much as I would like. I would love to do it more, and I hope to, and hopefully my raw talent will grow over time.
That's great. Ian and I will definitely be on the lookout for that. It's really cool to see that coming along with albums.
Or
that's cool. I can talk about just really about but I was all about everything going on right now with Corona, all this fucking shit. Creating and dropping an EP in a climate like this, the music climate, is, I would imagine, with bigger artists, you see them left and right postponing album releases and kind of flipping out. Did you have any doubts or uncertainty about releasing it and kind of putting it into the world in a time like this?
Yeah, it's actually been on my mind a lot. So the reason Ornate is out now actually is because the original plan for Uncommon Records this year was to put out a record called White Horse from a side group of mine called White Horse. And that group is myself and Gaja from Acid Rain and Project Load. And, we finally got the record finished. It's mixed, mastered. It's actually being pressed up on vinyl right now. And because of the events that are going on, there's a couple of ways to think about putting out vinyl right now, because I'm also a label owner. So I have to think of it as a business person and as an ethical person. And,
right.
So with White Horse, being what was originally planned for the spring as a vinyl release, I had to reconsider that. I had to think about two things at the same time, which is, one, how can I realistically try to market and promote a $25 piece of music at a time when people are being laid off from their jobs, people are sick, people are worried about their family, people are trying to save money. That's just rude and insensitive. On the other hand of it, as a business person, if I put out something on vinyl right now in the midst of all this, I'm not going to get the coverage that I would get under normal circumstances. And when you're talking about something pressed on vinyl, you're talking about a large investment. They don't press the records for free, So you have to kind of be smart with yourself, and you have to also be a decent person too. And I think that both of those things tied into Uncommon Records shuffling some of the releases. So Ornate, as an EP, was always planned to be a digital release. And I was probably going to put it out in like June or something, after, sort of as like a nice follow-up and like to keep things rolling as the White Horse project built. And, when Corona came about, I just was like, the only way to really provide people with music that want to hear it in an ethical way is to provide it digitally. And so I actually decided that I wanted to make a bigger push with some of the digital releases that were planned for later on this year, like Ornate. We're doing a White Horse single, instead of the album right now. We're going to do a Guillotine Crowns collection of sort of like some of our best hits. That's me and Short Fuse, along with some new stuff. And that's going to be digital in the summer. And then we'll just play things out and see where they go in terms of, physical records being pressed and where that can be. To the other point, like logistics are really all over the place now too. And, my records at Uncommon Records get pressed physically in the Czech Republic. And so, when you're talking about the business of music, I had to check in with my manufacturer, which is a US-based company, and they were like, we can get this to you, but the prices on air freight have been completely jacked. So if you want it to be the original shipping price, you're probably going to have to ship it by sea. And so as we sit here today, the White Horse album on vinyl is on a boat somewhere. In 2020, that's just the reality. It's on a boat. I'm told that the boat is docking or about to dock in New York. And, how it gets to my door from that point, I don't even know, so like, because their warehouse has to be open. So like, there's a lot of like things going on behind the scenes. I would just say, first and foremost, putting out a record right now, if you're serious about music, you're trying to do promotion. You know what I mean? You're trying to reach out and get people to cover this.
Right.
So if it's a vinyl release and I'm writing people incessantly, which I have to do because I do my own PR, it's just rude. Like there's more important things going on than my fucking shit that I'm trying to push right now. And I don't want to be in that situation. I don't like doing my own PR to begin with. I hate writing and asking for stuff all the time, which is what doing PR is.
I feel that.
So, you know, it's already frustrating. And like at this point, like if I was that person being written, like I'd be like, fuck off, you know, like there's something more important going on. And so like to answer your question more directly, like Ornate was just, you know, ready and it was going to come out probably in early summer. And I was just like, this is the way that I should put stuff out. You know, like I should, the digital stuff that's in the queue for Uncommon Records, that's what I'm going to put out now and try to get this rolling to, you know, because I don't want to not put out music. I mean, people do need music. You know, fans of mine want to hear my music. Maybe other people don't. But, you know, there's other music out there. Like, I'm not suggesting that artists should stop making art or stop releasing it. I'm just saying, you know, looking out for your own interests and looking out for the decency of how you have to promote a record. I just don't think it's the right time to have a heavy investment in a physical piece of music right now. It's just the reality of the world.
That's fucking fair enough, honestly. I mean, it's cool that you still have, despite all of the uncertainty and everything, new shit coming down the pipe. That's super fucking cool. And
yeah, I mean, I'm in the middle of finishing a bunch of projects. In a twisted way, it's actually given me some time to catch up because I record a lot faster than I can actually mix and master.
Yeah, absolutely.
Obviously. So, and another thing I just wanted to say, just as a heads up, like, you know, Ornate and everything in Uncommon Records digital catalog on our Bandcamp is free for download right now. And, you know, basically the reason that I wanted to do that is because if you are at a point now where you can't afford to even maintain a Spotify account or maintain an Apple Music account, there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to hear the music if you want to. So all the stuff in our Bandcamp, which is legacy of, you know, 15 years worth of music, plus Ornate, like that's all free for download. There's to pay what you want there, but really what you want to do is just grab it and listen to it, do what you want with it. And then, of course, it's on streaming services, you know, as everything is.
Hell yeah, dude.
I got one last. Oh, you there?
Yeah.
All right, I got one last question, and then we can wrap up. Your track "Voided," which appeared on the Anthony Fantano charity LP. Ian and I were curious how that came about because, you know, the majority of what we do on our episodes is talk about the new albums that come out and give our thoughts and opinions on them. And of course, there's nobody better at doing that than Anthony Fantano. So when his charity record came out, you know, we were all over your track on that. So I just wanted to ask about that.
Yeah. You know, I made that song shortly after Written Tonight was finished. You know, I just had I had those thoughts in my head to kind of express. And it was just one of those days where it's a really good time to be a person that knows how to make beats and can write and has a studio in their house. So I just went downstairs and, well, not downstairs. What am I talking about? I live in an apartment. But I went into the studio and, you know, made the song and I had it actually for a couple of months. I didn't really know what to do with it. And then when I was approached to do that record, to be a part of that record, I was just like, this is perfect. I have a fully mixed, fleshed out song that I think fits the bill of what they're trying to do. And, you know, I submitted that one and they liked it. And the rest is history.
That's awesome.
That's super fucking sick, man.
Well, we're so glad that you were able to take the time and come on with us. And, you know, if things straighten out, hopefully this will be a follow-up that will be in person at some point. That would be ideal. So
yeah, for sure.
We're really looking forward to that. Ian and I are based north of Baltimore, so if you find yourself performing Baltimore, DC, obviously we're following your movements, but we'll definitely see you there. So we're super excited about that.
Yeah, for sure. I've been down there a couple times. grip of time. It's like DC and Baltimore probably played more than anywhere else in the country. So I like both of those places.
Awesome. Cool. Well, thank you for taking the time, man. It's really, really awesome. We look up to you a lot in your music, and we've been following for a while. So it's so cool that this could happen.
Word, man. Thank you. Thank you guys for having me.
Of course. All right. Ian, is there anything you wanted to say?
Just that it was super fucking cool talking to you. And I was really excited about your EP and everything. It's super awesome that you've still got new stuff coming out, and power to you, man. Seriously, power to you.
Word. Yeah, man. Thank you. Thank you both.
Stay safe as well, of course.
Yeah, man. You guys too. Absolutely.
Awesome. All right. I'm going to end the meeting now, but thank you for everything.
All right.
All right.
All right.
See ya.
Peace.